Like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
All right, all right.
With you.
So,
We're totally with you. Okay.
all right, wait. So hold on.
Woosah.
27.
Johnny. I'm stuck on the whole walking through
80s, so
Harlem.
she was like a Molly Ringwald to me. Like, if you know anything about the John Hughes movies.
I won $100 million.
Oh, God.
I disappeared.
I got it. No, I know this. This is why it works. Because there is a way. They do not. Like,
Easy.
Hey,
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Easy Monday Motivation. It is your boy E of Scotch with E, along with my wonderful co-host, the best crew that you could ever do anything that make it do what it do. What's up, my main man, CT? How you be?
what's good? Can't be any better. I'm in the house with my people. What's up? What's up?
Talking about, and then of course, Johnny, my liege. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. What's going on, y'all? It's good
Oh
to be
man,
here.
I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for the day. Today
Yeah.
is the last day within our Black History Month series of love. So shout out to Black History Month. That's right. We want to show love. Hopefully this month you had some time to learn some new facts about Black historians and the efforts that Black people have worked really hard to make sure that are reflected in the culture of America. We are a part of America. We help build it. We are here. Black History Month. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. I'm going to go around and check in with everybody, ask them how they felt that, Black History Month has gone so far. And how's it going? Like, so CT, want to check in. How's your Black History Month been so far? And, how's everything been?
Man, I appreciate you asking me. Listen, I think Black History Month is one of those moments where reflection and gathering new information and resetting on just what makes this country great, right, is especially for me, because the work that I do and the way that I get a chance to lean in, I get a chance to learn from everybody. And the thing that I appreciate the most is not everybody agrees on the same thing, right? But what I do feel like this month better or more than some other months in the past is that we disagreed, but we weren't as disagreeable. And so I appreciated that perspective, and I appreciate all of the folks who open their ears to just hear and listen for something new, open their hearts to allow not just Black History Month, but love to enter their heads and their hearts, and that we loved each other through our ability to care for one another. And I'm doing well, man. This year is flying by, if I can say that way.
It is.
I'm back traveling again a good bit and interfacing and talking about culture and helping people understand how to function and live and move and breathe. And so I'm in my sweet spot, operating my gifts. And of course, I'm with my EMM family. So I'm always good when I get a chance to be in this space. So I'm good, y'all. I'm good.
Good.
That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that. And I definitely would like to agree. Like, this year's been flying already. Like, guys, when we think about this into February, while we're
crazy.
We're moving things faster than we need to too. So Johnny, I'm gonna check in with you. How was your week, and how was your experience with Black History Month so far?
I agree. It is flying by. So, y'all, this year, I don't know if I talked about this already, but since the beginning of the year, I've been on this journey of practicing a little bit more self-care and self-love, since we're in the spirit of Black History Month and love. And I've been trying to find really good moisturizers because I have really dry skin. So if anybody has any tips on that, please help me out. I have like dry skin, I have combination skin. So I don't know. I've been trying to get a glow going here. We'll see how it goes. But I'm starting from the inside out. So at the beginning of the year, every year we do the Daniel's fast. So the first 21 days, basically a vegan diet, but with no sugar and no alcohol. And I exaggerate immediately, but within the first 6 days, I noticed a difference. But you know what that tells me? Is that I was eating like crap. because if I could tell a difference so quickly in my skin, my face was less puffy, my clothes fit a little bit better, that means I was not taking care of myself, y'all. So I'm on this journey for the rest of the year that I'm going to commit to continuing to take care of myself and my skin so I can just glow.
I like
You're
it.
already
I like
glowing.
it. You do glow. You
You
do
do
glow.
glow, Johnny.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, you do.
Yes.
I say, yeah, you do glow. I will say for like I know sometimes I struggle with the dry skin stuff too. So any recommendations you guys out there, motivationers, we're willing to take that feedback too. Like I typically just dip myself in water and just stay in there, right? Like
Okay.
right. Like that's moisture, right? That's not how we.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Apparently,
what
I don't
happens
know.
after that? Because you
That's what
get
I said. I suck at this again. I'm just like that don't count, right? Like I'm just
no, you're gonna
that
be mad
doesn't count.
ashy and
It's like
dry.
that's as moist as you can be is to submerge your body in water. And you telling me that ain't gonna work? So
And then when
I
you
think
come
I
out,
need to
I
quit.
don't know what that's gonna be about when you come out.
I don't know, but
Okay. All right.
I was thinking about the maximum moisture you can have, and I think submerging yourself is as close as you can get.
It's called
So
drowning.
Right.
That is what that's
So outside of drowning, is there another way to moisturize? I bet there is. So
gotta be another way.
yes, because that's not called self-care if you're trying to drown to be moist. Let's just go ahead and walk away from that because it's me time to tell how I've been. Black History Month has been pretty cool. There's some opportunities that I had this month that I was really excited about that I'll share with later. I'll put some pictures and stuff together. I always love that I get to play around with the food of Black History Month, and I'm always kind of invited to play around in somebody's space with food and for the culture. So more to come on that. But outside of that, the fish did not celebrate Black History Month. Only the black striped tetras did. The other tetras just swam around oblivious. I don't know why my other fish didn't see the point of it, but maybe fish don't know how to tell time or what day it is. Maybe I'm lying about that. I don't think that actually happened. In my mind, it did, but the black striped tetras is always at the top of the tank celebrating. It seems like, but the rest of them didn't come up for some reason.
Okay.
But yeah, otherwise than that, the tank is clean. We did what we did.
So you still have time to play the Black National Anthem to the tank, and then everybody celebrate it. I don't want to leave anybody out.
Everyone has to celebrate it. That's right.
I'm gonna go over. They run from the music, especially the bass. So it's okay. We gonna get them together. There is some diversity in the tank that we gonna be working on. Okay. So with that said. This is our last.
I love this show.
I'm just saying.
Never know what you're gonna get.
That's my little bit of chaos I sprinkled into for the day. I'm pulling back my seasoning. So today's topic is in the theme of love that we kicked off in February. So CT, I'm kicking it over to you because you're going to be introducing our topic today and leading our discussion.
Thanks, E. Like, I'm having such a good time with this conversation with you all this month, and some of the nuances that you all have heard throughout this month. I hope it has motivated you, encouraged you, made you laugh. But on this specific episode, and I'm appreciative, Johnny, that you brought up the idea about self-care, because that's really what it is today. For us to talk to you all about. I'm reminded of Whitney Houston, who said something like, learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all.
Maybe you should sing it so we really know what you're talking about.
Please.
I don't know if I heard that song before.
Please.
Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. Little bit of face.
That boy good. That boy good. The chocolate drop. The chocolate drop.
And when you think about ways that I self-care, singing is one of them, right? And so, but I don't want to get ahead of us in terms of introducing ways not yet. Because as a part of this dialogue, I want us to give ways that we self-care. I want to start, though, with this idea. I want to start with Eric. Because when I think about as we learned in January, the agent of chaos, we learned a lot about Lil E. We learned a lot about how you show up in the world. And when you think about love and chaos, like I know it was last month, and I know everybody is still reeling off of a whole month's worth of stuff that they got a chance to hear from you. But I was like, nah, man, I gotta understand first from E, what does like love chaos look like? Because there's nothing else we can do unless we fully have the headset of love chaos being introduced into our conversation so that we have like the ability to have the rest of this conversation. Because that's what's been on my mind. I know that's what the easy motivationers, that's what's been on their mind. Johnny, I know you got some things that'll be on your mind, but I know you too want to know what love chaos
I do.
looks like. What's love chaos look like?
That's an excellent question. Love chaos looks like it's a beautiful painting. It is absolutely gorgeous because it's so inviting with all of the vibrant colors and all of these interpretations of what it is. But love chaos is without a frame. There's no way to really put an end to it. You can never be satisfied with it because there's no into the creation of love chaos. It's infinite in itself because it's always ongoing, and what you think is beautiful in that moment turns very ugly, and then it becomes beautiful again, and then it becomes ugly, and it's an ever-changing thing that we'll never ever be able to truly enjoy. You can have moments of enjoyment within love chaos, but at the end of the day, it's still chaos first. And in order to have love requires stability. Love requires whole pictures. The frame is placed on love. When somebody loves something, they know and accept it for what it is, and therefore its frame is very clear to them. When you are still in the chaos of love, it's still moving. It's still intangible. It's just the concept of love, and you love it because it's so new and exciting, and it fills you with fire and all of the things, but it never settles to the point where you can have the real long-term holistic love, because it's not meant to. Chaos love is meant to just be this beautiful explosion. Chaos love is fireworks.
Ooh. Chaos love is fireworks. So as you were trying to lay that, I was thinking about
I was trying to find the vision. It's beautiful in the essence of it, but it's only fleeting. You enjoyed it. It gave you an experience. You can talk about it, but nobody will ever be able to grasp it because they didn't see it.
So when you said fireworks, so at first I thought boundaries, Johnny.
Yeah.
And then he said fireworks. And then I started thinking about what fireworks do when you're not trained. Like, so if you are playing with fireworks and you don't know how to handle those fireworks, and it blows up on you, like
that's your fault.
There's damage, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about this whole love chaos concept that our man has thrown out here?
I don't know.
I know, right?
I mean, y'all been in some stable love for a long time, though. I mean,
I gotta sit and think about that.
I mean, for real, y'all been in some stable love for a long time. So chaos is out here.
Love doesn't mean we're without fireworks and without.
No, y'all got fireworks. Yeah, right? but you already put a frame on it, right? There's a frame on the understanding of y'all's love, and that's what marriage helped you do, because that's why you did it. When you out here and there's no frame on it, I mean, is this red, white, and boom, or is this somebody's backyard? Like, it's just fireworks. It's not stood up in a way where it's like, oh, these are meant to be fireworks. No, it's all just fireworks. You just don't know. Things are going off. Is that a gunshot? No, it's love. Oh God, okay. I'm a little nervous. Your dog is under the couch because of love. You know what I'm saying? Your car's tires is flat because of love, right? There's a lot of chaos in love, right?
Oh,
and y'all have found the stability in it where you're not dealing with all the chaotic nature of how people are pretty much slamming themselves into each other to try to make love, and it's not really working.
Okay.
I feel like we got to help the people with this today, because I feel like, you know, in the context of our conversation today, we were talking about self-care. Like, if you got all of this chaos going around in the context of love, and even though we have boundaries and we have the frame, I don't know about you, Johnny, but you know, 25 years, we've had a whole lot of fireworks. Some fireworks were good, some fireworks were
Fireworks
not
were
so
good.
good, and
Yes.
yet we're still here. I still got all my fingers in my, well, you can't see my toes, but I got all my fingers on my toes. Like, I got
Yes.
all my
Yes.
extremities. We still good,
We so
right? But
good.
in the midst of all that chaos, I had to find a pathway where I needed to define what care looked like in chaos. So, right. So if I'm talking about love chaos, I have to make sure I'm caring for myself so that when the fireworks go off, I got to be okay on the other side of it.
I
So,
like that.
Johnny, when you start thinking about how you care for yourself in the midst of chaos, especially love chaos, right? What do you do? How do you think about it? What hits your heart? What hits your mind when we start talking about what care looks like in chaos?
Yeah, I love that you said about having to find that self-love in the midst of all that chaos, because for me, that's where the self-love came from. I think prior to being a wife and a mom, I really didn't have to focus on self-love or self-care as much, I guess, but life forced me to do that. And for a number of different reasons. Well, one, I was am raising two little girls.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to be an example for them of what it looks like to be a woman who is whole
Mhm.
and happy and navigating the world with a level of confidence that's like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, you can
Yeah.
handle this. So I wanted to be that example. And then the second part is talking about this chaos. I didn't think it was fair to myself or to my spouse or my children that my happiness or my whatever was wrapped up in them. I didn't
Mhm.
want them to be my whole world.
Mhm.
So in the midst of all that chaos, life kind of forced me to embrace this idea of what self-love and self-care really was, so that I could show up right for the people around me and not put it all on them. So I found it like as I was maturing, as I was growing in our relationship, that like, oh, you need to take care of yourself and stop worried about what he's doing or worried about what's happening with the kids and start taking care of yourself. And
Yeah.
then things started to be a little bit more calmer and simpler, if that's the word I wanted to use, around here
Yes.
when I started doing that.
I'm not good. That's self-care, self-love. Like, in that context, Johnny, like, my whole framework is about, I find that I define love or find care for others as the way for me to care for myself.
Mm.
Mm.
And that sometimes is where, when I think about the chaos of it all, it circles back to this idea that maybe I'm actually not doing something specifically for me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Because I'm
Yeah.
always thinking about what is it that I need to make sure that I'm doing for other people. And if other people are okay, then I'm okay, right? Like, I don't know if anybody else
Mm.
thinks like that way. Like, but for me, it was
I
just like,
know, but are you? I don't
I
know.
think so, right?
I know.
So I
That was
I,
one
I
of the
can
questions I
understand.
had today too. Yeah. 'Cause sorry, you go ahead.
I can understand that mindset, CT, because the sacrifice for those you care for shows that you care
Mhm.
and make sure that you are good. But at the end of the day, you still have things you like. You
Mhm.
still have things you need. You still have
Yeah.
things you want that will be outside of them. I mean, I'm just going to throw this out there. What happens when you want to have Sprite and everybody else wants to go and drink water?
But
CT should be able to have his Sprite.
I should, but then it takes some extra work for me to go get that Sprite. So, you know what? I'm just gonna have water, because
So you,
Mm.
sometimes you just
ooh,
find
that
your
just told me a
way.
lot. That
Yeah,
just told me a lot. You
you
don't do
just
the extra
find
work
your
for
way through the water.
yourself, but you will do the extra work for everybody else.
Yeah.
Work for
But
everybody else. That's right.
but
That's
it
right.
Bro,
okay, I think you're going where I'm with what
yeah,
I'm thinking with
go ahead,
too.
Johnny. Go, Johnny.
Go,
But
Johnny.
doesn't it get to a point? Okay, so I've been watching This Is Us. I don't know if y'all have ever watched the show
Oh
This
yeah.
Is Us. Okay, so Sterling K. Brown, amazing in that. But he plays a character who is just like that. He gives so much of himself to his entire family, his community. I mean, he goes all in. And if you know anything about this character, he has anxiety, really bad
Yeah,
anxiety, like
really bad.
crippling anxiety attacks where he's on
Yeah.
the middle of the floor and crying and can't move, loses his vision, the whole nine. So what happens when you don't ever stop and do the work to go get the Sprite that you want to drink? Like, what happens when you do that, right? I mean, I wrote this down in preparation for this conversation too, because I think that's a very fair question. It's like, I don't know. So what happens? Are you letting it all just build up?
Yeah.
Because at some point you have to do the things that you want to do and take care of yourself, right? E, is that where you was going with this a
Yeah,
little
that's
bit? Like,
100% where it's going, because that's the opposite. Like, you remember how we started this? E, how was your weekend? I had nothing in the way to impede any of the plans that I wanted to do what I wanted to do.
yeah.
Nothing in the way to stop me from doing what I wanted to do to make me happy. When my kids are around and I got to deal with them and their happiness and the things that they need got to come from me, cool. But I'm still going to do if I got to go to work, I'm going to go to a job, and I'm going to have expectations to deliver work for them, so I get paid. And then if I'm in a relationship and I have a woman who's going to expect me to do a certain level of work so she can be good, then I'm going to do that, and I'm going to get loved. And if I got kids and I have a certain amount of level of work I need to do for them to be good and solidify their future, I'm going to do that, and their future is going to be set, and I'm going to be good with that. But all of that work I did for everybody else does not fill any of my physical cup. What it does is it doesn't drain my cup. It keeps the whole balance of water around me at that level. Everything around me is good, but my cup didn't get anything because I poured out vertically instead of the horizontal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I poured into everybody else, but my cup needed more, because if I fill my cup up, everybody else's cup come up too, because I am the purveyor of all cups. You lead the world around you with your happiness. And as you continue to sacrifice yourself in this thankless position, because nobody knows that you want the Sprite, they just see that you drink the water for them.
You're like, he's good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. But guess what? At the end of the day will bubble up where it's going to be like, I just wanted my damn Sprite today. And nobody knew that you needed Sprite.
And everybody's like,
Sprite.
what is wrong
Why
with
is he
him?
tripping on Sprite? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and be the one to say, like, I believe that every person has a percentage of selfishness that you're supposed to invoke in your life. Because while things happen for seasons and things happen for reasons, you will always be in your season. It's your season. You're in it. You'll never have a season where it won't be about you. Never. There will always be a percentage of it.
But sometimes in the world that we work and we function and we live in today, there's all of these requests that come in. And so let's go with the water thing, right? Let's go with the water. Let's go.
Okay.
Right. So let's go with the water thing. So let's just assume, right? They have multiple types of water, right? There's water that has bubbles, and there's water that does not have bubbles.
Yeah.
Sprite has bubbles. So what if I got the sparkling water? It's got bubbles.
As opposed to the Sprite?
Like Sprite has bubbles.
As opposed to Sprite.
So it's an alternative.
No, it's not.
To what Sprite needs to be. Sprite's not even good for me, E. I might want the Sprite.
No, see, again.
It's good for me. So the people around me are giving me the water. So I get water. The water has bubbles. So I'm compromising with my water with bubbles rather than having my Sprite. Doesn't that make it up? Doesn't that make it better?
No. And then folks around you are going to be tired of you and your little water. They're going to be they're going to be tired of you, because they're going to be able to notice eventually, especially the way you talk about your family. One is obvious how close you are. Yeah. Two, it doesn't seem like they hold any punches. So sooner or later, you're going to come in there and Mel is going to be like, yo, what is your deal? So oftentimes when we have this conversation about self-love, I think that it's a lot focused on the female, on the woman. Like, you give so much of yourself and you taking care of your family and all of that, which is true. Absolutely. Because there's something about just being a nurturer that you do. But I think sometimes we forget about our brothers and how much they give of themselves. I watch my husband sometimes, and like, all he's doing is taking care of us and running the kids someplace and filling in the gap because I have to work late, and he's doing this and that and all the things, right? And then he's an educator. So I don't even know how his day is throughout the day. And there are times when I say, yo, you need to go to happy hour or something because you walking around. You got to go somewhere. I don't know what
Yeah.
you got to do, but you got to go. And he's like, oh, you kicking me out? Absolutely. Because we all are feeling the wrath of you not taking care of yourself. And when he does, he's a better person for it. So I think the same thing goes for you too, CT. I know in your home, there's been times where they're like, hey, when's the last time you played golf? Because it looks like you need to go out.
I don't know what you're talking about, Johnny. Perfect. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
So let's use some terminology, right? So one of the things we talked about this year was to bring a little bit additional context and research to our conversation. So if I said the regular water versus the bubbly water, I would define the bubbly water as maybe my coping mechanism, like my way to be sustained. Even though I don't get the thing that I want, I've replaced it with something that is like what I want. So now I'm able to cope with what I don't have because I filled it with something that is similar to it, or something that I feel like, you know what, this thing will allow me to be able to get what I need, even though if it's not the thing that I want.
Yeah.
Right? Does that make sense? Do you all have coping mechanisms? Like
No.
when
I do. Yes,
No.
I do.
he said no. You ain't got no copes, E?
Nah, I just do me. Nah, I don't. No. I'm not disagreeing with you that it's a good compromise, but at the end of the day, the word is still compromise, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we're gonna go from the position of CT wants Sprite, the family wants water. What CT has just told himself, I should not get what I want. I should compromise for what I want so that I can give the people who want something from me what they need, and I can just dial back my needs just a little bit. No. And no. And the reason why I say that is because nobody else in your family is going to do that. Nobody else is going to do that for you. Nobody. If your kids want to go to Waffle House, they're going to say they want to go to Waffle House. They're not going to be like, well, we'll just go to Kroger's and just buy the waffle stuff and make them at home. No, we're going to Waffle House. Your wife wants to go to a certain place for dinner, for an anniversary. She told you the place. She's not going to be like, well, I know I really want to go to J. Alexander, but we could just go to BJ's just instead. No, she's not going to do that. So while you're making the compromises for everybody for what they want, because you are the giver and the provider in these scenarios, there is no recourse for you to get what you want because nobody's even going to ask. So if you want something and you work really hard to take care of everybody else, get what you want. Now, the compromise that you should have is you don't need the big 2-liter of Sprite. Get you a small one. Now, you have your Sprite. It's measured. You have the satisfaction of getting what you want. Your family got the water, and you didn't overdo it on Sprite. But you didn't compromise and have to, I'm not even going to say the word, cope with asking for something you want. What type of world or life would you be living if I got to compromise for what I want from the people I'm giving everything to? Excuse me. Sign me up for single forever.
Okay. Well,
Johnny,
because
helping Johnny.
Because there's a balance. I mean, I know this conversation is about self-love and self-care, and we're going to unpack that some more.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about relationships, there is a balance.
Yes.
It can't always be what you want and when you want it, because life just doesn't work that way. So
Are you talking to me?
I'm just speaking in general.
Okay, I was about to say.
I'm just speaking in general, but if you want to take it. Because you're saying like, no cope, no, if that's what compromise is. That was my imitation of you. That's good. What compromise is. I ain't compromising nothing for nobody.
He asked for a Sprite. He got to compromise on a Sprite. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the levels? But I'm just saying, can you imagine the levels of compromise? If you're compromising on a Sprite, like when anything goes above that, are you going to be compromising for that? Like, I'm just saying, like,
look, all I know is this.
Love yourself.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the magic answer. All I know is that you're going to have to compromise on a little bit of everything in a relationship at some point. That's all I know. And if you love the person enough, then it's okay. And I will even venture to say, like, when you love yourself enough, it's all good, because when you've invested the time and the, what is the word I'm looking for, y'all? When you've done the work to
Yeah.
really understand what self-love truly is, you're okay with the compromise every now and again, because it makes think, hey, it's all good. Life is good. Things are good. My family's around me. I'll just drink the water with them today. But tomorrow, just know is on and popping, right? So I think, I don't know. I think
Is that is
there's a
that really
balance.
is that really compromise as much as going? I'm just going to prioritize water today, and I have my Sprite tomorrow.
No, it's compromise.
It's compromise.
Okay, all right,
I would
cool.
agree with Johnny. There's a compromise. I think I love where you're at, E. And Johnny, I resonate with where you're at, right? Because there is this idea that like we are constantly in this place where we thank you, E, for bringing our friend out. He hasn't been out for a little while, so let me give him a little shine. No. Yeah. This is my last word. No. Sorry, he's making a cameo. No button making a cameo. Like I think some of what it becomes important, right? As we're learning about ourselves, our individual selves, and understanding what it is that we need. I know for much of my life, my answer to the question was, Chris, what do you want? And my response was, well, what does everybody else want? Because what would happen is it would take too much energy for me to get what I wanted and then try to manage everybody else. So for a long time, I'd be like, I'll find what I want in what everybody else wants. And so my need was never being fulfilled because I was always emptying myself for someone else. And then to y'all's point, I would, if I'm Sprite, it was like somebody shook me up. Yep. And then they took the top off, and then I blow up, right?
Yep.
You'd be like, "What happened?
Hey, what's wrong with you?
What happened? What happened?" And what I have learned, what I'm learning, that's better said. What I'm learning is that I do very much appreciate that I don't need the 2-liter. Like sometimes I just need, in the spirit of Scotch with E, I just need a sip here and there. And over, if I've got the right kind of beverage, and it might not be Sprite. Let's just talk about my favorite, right? Let's just say I got some bourbon. Bourbon, I'm not chugging bourbon.
No.
But I might actually, watch this now, have my bourbon, and then I might add a little water to my bourbon. Because there's water already there because I provided water for everybody else. And so now that water is there that everybody else has, I'm bringing a little bit of what I need to that. And when I add those things together, I'm no longer compromising. I'm getting the best of both worlds. Yeah. And when I start thinking about what real self-care and what real self-love does, it includes and is inclusive of the idea that I have to be exclusionary sometimes. That word might be selfish to make sure I have what I need, but I'm not doing it in a way that is now excluding everybody else from what they might need too, because of who I am for me to my family, because of who I am if I'm a leader, sitting in a seat as a leader on my job, sitting as a leader in my family, wherever. If I'm sitting in the seat as a leader, a part of the responsibility is to make sure that, because I can see it, to make sure people have what it is that they need, but I can't do it without making sure I've got what I need too. So there's this, Johnny, it is a balance. And when you are off balance, I'd be curious because I know how I am when I'm off balance. Clearly, Eric is never off balance because he is always about making sure he has what he needs. So there's no off balance. But Johnny, like when you are off balance, like how then do you show up? How are then people perceiving you and receiving you? And then more importantly, how do you reset? Like, because I get a sense that really good people from a self-love, self-care perspective, they know when they're off and they know when they have kind of messed up the environment that they're in. So how do you know? And then what do you do to fix it, Johnny?
Oh, it's that self-awareness piece that we always talk about, right? So in order to understand when you're out of balance, you have to, okay, so when I used to run, I had a running coach. And he used to tell me, like, as we're running, you're running like this. And he said, hey, relax your shoulders, let your arms sway back and forth, and just feel it so you know what it feels like to be comfortable. Because if you know what it feels like to be comfortable, you know what it feels like to be uncomfortable. And you're like, okay, you were able to tell the difference. So it's
Yeah.
the same thing with that balance. So in order to understand what it feels like when you're balanced, you kind of, or when you're unbalanced, you got to know what it feels like when to be balanced. So you have to know yourself and take care of yourself and have a certain level of self-awareness. So when I'm unbalanced, do I have to tell y'all like what I do, or just say I'm just not that pleasant of a person?
I think the easy motivationers want to know.
They want to know the real.
They want to know what's up.
I can be very
Mean.
short and my tone is very
Condescending.
condescending. Very condescending. Very
She becomes
condescending,
mean.
very sarcastic. Because I'm sarcastic as it is. But if you did not have to nod your head that way.
He nodded hard like me.
I love it. I mean, you got good sarcasm.
I think so too. But when I'm unbalanced, this is like, yeah, it's very condescending, very snappy, very like, That's the only way I can describe it. So when I notice that, it's time for me to do something for myself. So it just kind of all depends on what kind of mode I'm in, right? I mean, it's everything from hanging out with my friends, taking some time for just me, like curling up with a good book, watching some TV, getting some rest. Y'all know I love being outside when I can. You know that was coming. So there's different things, but it's just as long as I have that opportunity to check in with myself. I'm like, okay, girl, you are off. Maybe you're tired, whatever it is, but you need to do something because everyone is affected by you.
See, I gotta pull something she said out of there because it kind of goes to what I said in my interview. You gotta know what you're like unbalanced to know what you're like balanced, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of just speaks to how I live, where it's like I need to know what's chaotic so that I know what chaos that is not, right? Like I know where to live in structure because I see structure, but I also recognize chaos. So I can operate in that way. Now I definitely agree with your sentiment of how you have to recognize yourself. That self-awareness is very important for how you're impacting and affecting people. When I was I'll go back to when I was married and I was in scenarios where me not feeling satisfied, me not taking the time to address my lack of self-care, and I would come home from work and everything would piss me off. Like everything would have me in a tizzy. And my son one day, and I recognized this, my son one day texted me and said, "Hey Dad, what type of day did you have at work?" And he's never asked me that before. So I was like, "What?" He was like, "Well, I just want to kind of know what type of day you had." And I was like, "Well, I had a good day." He was like, "Yeah, I like it when you have good days because you come home happier." And I did. And it took for my son to say that to me to recognize, like, I bring all of my stressful, worried, anxieties home. And it's because of something I'm not satisfied with in my professional life or something else. And my kids feel it and my family feels it. So the moment my son said that to me, it became real easy to be like, "Oh, Eric," I adapted the flush technique. I go to work. I walk into the door. Me walking in the door is me flushing everything that mattered from outside because I can't do anything about it while I'm in here. I got to focus on these things. If there's any intertwining, like I'm aware of it, I can work with it. And then the same thing when I leave out of the building, boom, flush everything that happened at work because I can't deal with that. And that allowed for me to be able to transition myself to better understand what people needed from me and how I was impacting them when I wasn't really in a happy space myself. So I definitely agree with that, Donnie.
I love that. That's really good.
Yeah, CCT at one point, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't all non-coping and at one point I did it. But now I'm like,
that's funny. I think it's funny how like the kids.
That's exactly what I think.
I knew it was coming. I was waiting for it.
Oh gosh.
You want to date me? I'd be like, what? You must be crazy.
Oh gosh, I love that.
I'm reminded of, and every once in a while we love to bring in if nothing else, love to bring in some text. And in Romans, chapter 12, it talks about the renewing of your mind, right, daily. And I think a part of how we find that balance, a part of how we give ourselves permission to enter every single day as a new day, knowing that what happened yesterday, I can't do nothing about. What's happening tomorrow, I can't do nothing about. But I'm being present in today. That is one of the very best ways I can care for myself. But I got to change how I think about maybe what had happened, or maybe thinking about, well, wait a minute, I sense I'm empty today, or there's something off about where I am today. And having, thank you, Johnny, that self-awareness to say, wait, something is off. And then asking the right kinds of questions, or having the right kind of circle that can say, you not doing, something's up, talk to me. And then being honest about that, and being honest to say, you know what, okay, there's something that I'm missing. I haven't had my Sprite, so let me go get my Sprite, because I'm giving too much, right, in the spaces that I live and play. And when I think about your journey, right, so I've got a chance to watch you a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit, and some of the practical ways that over the last couple of years you have been very open about your journey around weight loss, your journey around becoming healthier, while at the same time being in a profession that not your day job, but your job that you like help bring joy to the world in. Like, how do you balance like love and care of yourself when the thing that you do might be contrary to the thing you're wanting to be?
Oh, that's a great question.
It is about balance. It is about knowing myself and my limits, and placing my goals above my fun. Like there are days. So like, for instance, I just had an event where I showed 6 different drinks and taught this class and all this stuff. And it's really fun, but I don't drink every day. I can't, I couldn't. So there's no way that I could operate my business in a way that would be destructive to my life. You know what I mean? I don't drink like that. So while you see me around bottles, I'm synonymous with scotch. That is my love of scotch that is on display. But my love of myself will not allow for me to let scotch destroy me at all, because that's not an option. That none of it is an option. I won't overeat. I'm not about to do any of the stuff. All right, I'll make sure my battery saver's on. I'm not about to do any of it. Like, I count my calories. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm gonna eat bad, I have a day that I eat bad. I watch everything that I do, in the sense that, like, I drink. The reason why I chose scotch is because it's clean. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of the best liquors you can drink as far as like calories, no sugars, the way it's processed. Like, I really did the research to make sure that when I am going to partake in those things, they're not anything that I would not be able to, feel better about the next day. I'm never going to damage myself in any way for the sake of my love of food or drink, or for anybody else. Like, no, I'm not. So yeah, I'll put it down. Like, I was literally in the meeting, like, no, y'all ain't got to make this drink if you don't want to. Like, I know we've already made a couple drinks. You ain't got to make this. You don't got to. Yeah. Just being honest. I'm showing you how, I'm giving you the recipe, but you do not have to drink this. You do not have to make this. And me telling people that is also reflective of me telling myself that I would never binge, because at the end of the day, I'm still a father. I still want to be somebody's husband. I'm not about to go out here and go live the lifestyle that would never make me eligible for the things that I want in life. That's kind of productive. So, and my love of myself will never let me not do what's best for myself.
That sounds like, Johnny, a word you bring up all the time, and that's discipline, right?
Discipline.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
I am very disciplined, because this bottle of Japanese whiskey has been sitting here for a long time. And I'm like, oh my God, I got Japanese scotch. Yay. But I haven't drinking it.
It was during the pandemic. That's when I discovered bourbon, and someone was like, Christopher, bourbon can stay on your shelf if you don't drink it. I was like, oh,
oh, it can.
Man, the things that make you go, so like, and when I started thinking about like this idea that in this conversation, the idea of self-love, we touched on love at the beginning of the month, but then I went back and asked grandma. I was like, what would you do, right, in this situation? So I was like, she's like, hey baby. Again, that's not
Just like that.
in my head. That's how I feel.
I want to hear it again. Hey, baby.
like
Let me tell you what grandma might do
Kim,
in a
hold on,
situation.
wait. Before you do that, Kim, pull on into my man CT, and I want him to start with what grandma would do with the hey, baby, because that right there is beautiful.
For all of the grandmas out there, and someone would ask them a question, and they would respond, "Hey, baby." This is how, in this segment, grandma might think about what you should be thinking about to motivate yourself through self-care. Number one, I am a Star Trek fan, and I was thinking about the letter S in the context of self-care, and I was like, you know what? They used to say, the Starship Enterprise, seek out new life, new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before. When you start thinking about self-care, it has to start with you doing that inner work of going where you haven't gone in a long time, opening those folders where you said, I'm never going to, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to go that place again. That might be holding you back from you being the very best self that you can be, which means the E has to be there, and that's excuses. You got to eliminate the excuses. There's a phrase that says excuses are tools of incompetence. With them, we make great minds of nothingness. And if I'm going to give my best self, then that self-care piece requires, if I want to go where I boldly go, I've got to get rid of the excuses. And when I get rid of the excuses, I've got to open in the aperture to do the L. And that's to learn something new about myself. Get myself involved in saying, wait a minute, what's the thing that I have not yet discovered about me? And then I go deep in the discovery, going to where no one has gone or where I have not gone before, because I've eliminated those excuses. Because the F says I've got to face my fears so I can move forward in faith. Can I get an amen in the church? Like, amen. When I'm facing my fears, then I give myself permission to learn something new. And when I learn something new, because I've gotten rid of all of the excuses, I can boldly go. And that boldly go is where the faith then is applied. But there is this idea that when I get into the care past myself, there is something important that I must have as my headset. There is a podcaster who says, I am responsible for the content. You are responsible for the comments. I'm responsible for the content of what's happening inside of myself. And I can't now allow that the comments about from somebody else to interfere with what I'm beginning to tell myself. Because what I'm telling myself is the A. And these are affirmations, daily affirmations that help me better understand who I am, who I'm going to be every single day. And so the content that I'm giving myself might say something like, I prioritize my well-being and my self-care is an essential part of my daily routine. I might say an affirmation like, my needs matter and I deserve time for self-care without guilt. I might say an affirmation that's, I'm worthy of love and care, starting with myself. I might use the affirmation that says, I choose action that nurtures my mind, my body, and my soul every single day. And when those affirmations are the content that help drive my life, I'm no longer moving in fear because I've learned something new about myself, because the excuses are gone, because I'm boldly going where no man has gone before. But here is the truth. After I have affirmed who I am, I have to actually make it a reality for myself. There's your R. When it's a reality for me, then it is something I'm actioning every single day. And as I'm actioning that, you know what I get to do? I get to embrace the me. I get to embrace the care that I need, that allows me to be a discoverer of new things, that gives me the ability to be more optimistic about the things I'm encountering every day, and gives me the confidence to know that this real thing that I have touched, because I'm affirming that the content that I've given to myself now has allowed me to face the fears that are there, because I learned something new about me, because there's no more excuses, because I'm boldly going where no one has gone before. And that is learning most about me. Thank you, Grandma. Thank you, Grandma.
All right. Hold up. I got to hit it.
I love that. It was good.
That boy good. We got to tell like that. That was
trying to step up my what would grandma do game, trying to help my game work out, right? And
hey, that was good. That was really good. We definitely gonna dive into that a lot more and break that down. I know we have some segments where we're gonna pull some more details out for the What Will Grandma Do for our listeners, so that way they can get a little bit more intimate with the concept of it, as well as, here's some expoundment on it from you, CT, and as well as you, Johnny, because it's my favorite time, because we just said what would grandma do, and then we have to be like, Johnny, what you got?
It makes me laugh every single time. It makes me giggle every single time I
love
think
it.
about it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
So, Johnny, this is your opportunity to talk to us about what gems you would like to present for us today.
Yeah. So self-love, self-care. And we're talking about it. And it's not always as easy as going out and hanging out with some friends or reading, whatever the things are that we mentioned during this episode. It's not always as easy. But I just want to encourage people to, again, we talked a little bit about it, start with the self-awareness.
Yeah.
A few years ago, we had a really bad winter, and I felt myself kind of needing to lean into my faith a lot more, right? And as I was doing that, I was thinking like, man, faith, I don't even truly know what I believe. I don't even truly know where my faith is coming from, because up until that point, I was saying like, I was believing in my grandma's Jesus, and that was getting me through, right?
Yeah.
It has served me well, but I was at a point that like I needed to know what I believed for myself. So I started practicing. I was doing a lot of yoga, a lot of meditating, a lot of praying and reading my Bible and all of those things. And then so I discovered a relationship for myself and what that meant for me. And I think the same thing goes for all of us, regardless of what situation we're talking about. Me, I was talking about my faith, but it could be anything, right? That we fall into this routine of doing what society tells us to do, following the path that maybe our families have created for us. But we really don't even know what we want, what we love, what we enjoy doing, our favorite hobbies. We don't even really know because we haven't given ourselves the chance to know it. So let's embrace that journey of self-awareness first, before we start talking about self-love and the things that we do to really make sure that we stay balanced. You got to understand who you are first, right? And so that journey will look different for everybody, but I just encourage you to do it. And if you've already been on it, maybe do a little bit of reflection, because I got to check in every now and again.
Right.
As life continues to happen, as I get older and more mature, I have to check in with myself to see if I'm still that same person that I was a few years ago, if I'm still enjoying that, the past times that I enjoyed before. So I just encourage everyone to practice self-awareness first and see what that's all about for you. And then you can begin that whole journey to self-love and self-care. And it'll really mean more to you than just going by what, society tells us it is.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I definitely agree. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I definitely
Thank you
agree.
very much.
So Johnny, that's what you had. Johnny had gems. And we'll jump back into that, but there's something I wanted to like kind of pull out of that as well.
Yeah.
That I think is very important. That this episode is about self-care, but you cannot love self without the awareness of how to love self. So I think it was very beautiful that we were able to tie those two together. That self-love and self-care is going to be different for everybody, but self-awareness starts how you love and care for yourself, because you just can't know if you don't know yourself.
You don't know. Yeah.
Which is why I'm so happy to be well into my agency of chaos, because I know myself. Hey, I'm a table flipper.
Doesn't that feel good though? Doesn't it feel good when you know yourself and you can be confident like, oh, wait a minute. No, I feel good in this decision that I made.
Yes.
Like, I know what I'm doing. I got this. Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
It feels wonderful. You should have seen the burnt piece of cinnamon that I put in this person's drink the other day. I felt good doing it. Now they, in their mind, like, why you put burnt cinnamon there? I'm like, drink your drink. They drank it, was like, this is so delicious. Like, yes. You see the burnt piece of cinnamon, you think crazy. I see flavor.
Like when you have me drinking pickle juice after a drink, and I'm like, what is this? I'll drink
it. Was it not the best ever, though? Did I not?
Yes. This is the best. I never experienced.
Don't worry, CT. We did
I
picklebacks.
feel so left out right now. I feel so like missing out on this
Oh.
opportunity. It's okay. It's
Come
my
back to
time is
Ohio.
coming. My
Yeah,
time is
yeah.
coming.
Well, no, don't worry. I'm coming. I'm
Oh,
bringing
that's right.
chaos to Destin. Remember? You done messed around, and I found a way to come forward. I'm coming for you.
Chaos travels. It has no
That
boundaries.
part.
Oh, Chaos got some frequent flyer miles, if y'all want to be honest. Because again, there's nothing to impede my progress from doing what I want to do. So,
We got it. We got it.
I'm coming. Chaos is on its way. All
You
right.
have Eric. You wouldn't have this, but Johnny, in your iPhone, do you see the new like when you do the like it allows you to do this?
Yep.
That's what you.
That's what I saw in my head right now. Fireworks were going off
That's right.
when he said that.
Well, just know it's all love, though. It's all love and chaos. So,
Yes, sir.
There you go.
It's so full circle. Full circle.
oh my gosh, this was a wonderful episode, man. I love this. I definitely think self-care is something that we'll probably have to pull back on too. And be on the lookout, guys, for the breakdown videos that we will have for what will grandma do in Johnny's Gems, because they be dropping these things, man. And I love the intro to come here, baby, let me talk to you. That's the
That's it.
Come here, baby, let me talk. Okay, so again, chaos just shows up. I don't know what's happening with my bar right now. Like my mic just said, you know what? Nah, we're gonna invoke some chaos at the end of the show. Because I fixed it, y'all. I saw it, but it was like I'm coming off the. Listen, you keep leaning in, I'm gonna lean in on you. That's what the mic said. It's okay.
What's
It's okay.
happening?
Just know that my mic loves me. I love it, and we got a little bit closer today. Just a
Yes,
little bit closer.
It's because of the outfit you got on. That's what it is.
You a hater.
That did sound like a hater comment.
I just want you
like
to know
to me.
it's postseason now. I can wear this with pride. It's postseason.
You're right.
So, regardless of how the season ended,
yes,
I waited until the end of the season to put it back on. That way I ain't, piss nobody off.
Okay.
Rain, sleet, snow, or hell.
I'm
still a 49ers fan. We're just gonna go ahead and I'm a fan, but I don't really care. So we're gonna give these final thoughts, because final thoughts is always fun. I'm gonna let my mic speak for me today. Go ahead. Y'all talk. I'm gonna just
Johnny,
what do you want to say, Mike? You've been tripping today.
Sure. Oh my goodness. Final thoughts on self-love and self-care. Let me tell you, what my final thoughts are? It feels really good to be here.
Yeah.
It feels really good to be in a space where my daughter actually asked me, she said, Mom, do you love yourself? And I said, you know what? I do. Do you love yourself? She's like, most days. And I say, hey, and that is the realest comment, but it feels good to be able to say most days. Absolutely. Do I get in a rut where I'm like, oh my gosh, and I'm overthinking everything I said, and did I sound stupid? Did I do this right? And that's just part of the human experience. But at the end of the day, it feels so good to be able to say I absolutely love myself, and it's been a journey to get here, and I know it'll keep evolving. So shout out and cheers to self-love.
No, that's right. That's
Agreed.
right. I think.
All right, what you got, CT?
Yeah. Final thoughts on it. Like when we added the title, "The Art of Self-Love" or like self-care, I think is really in the tone of the times that we're in. It's really important to think about. Well, at least when I think about art, the concept of something that's creative. I really loved how you painted Love Chaos at the beginning, where there was no boundaries, but you also talked about almost in the concept of a mosaic, right?
Yeah.
Where there's all different types of things coming in to this picture to shape and form what it is. And for me, I need all types of input. The thing that helps me function through the world and really know that I can be care and I can be love in the most artistic way possible is that I need multiple inputs. I need people with different perspectives and ideas and personalities and attitudes and mindsets to be as a part of my circle, my sphere of influence, that intake that allows me then to know what it looks like. Like it's hard for me to define what care means to me if I don't have something that is on the contrast of it to be like, no, Don't like that. No, that doesn't feel good, because I'm evolving every day. And as if I'm giving myself permission to have new insights and information and new intake, it's helping me to be better at knowing what it actually means and to be more exact around the kind of care I need so that I can be the manifestation of care and love. Right.
Yeah.
And to me, doing that, that's an art. And so as I think about the gift that we give to the Easy Motivationers, is the idea that we have three very different perspectives that we are bringing to this conversation. And if you are better as a result of something you heard that you didn't agree with, amen.
Amen.
Amen. I agree with that.
That's it.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I ain't got no final words, final thoughts today. The mic just ruined it
Got
for
you
me.
all. Just
Jumped off
take
the
ours.
daggone
Take
thing.
our
I don't
final
even-
thoughts.
I'm gonna need Sprite. Mike, that is not self-love, what you just pulled off there. Okay. That was literally the opposite. You tried to jump off the screen. Okay.
Sounds like a Japanese whiskey kind of night.
Thank you. I'm about to say, me and him about to go talk, because that was some kamikaze stuff you tried to pull on me. My Japanese whiskey got to the mic. So okay,
good.
don't believe me, guys. Don't believe me. All right. Excellent subject today. I love the topics. I love everything that we brought today. I know when we reflect on this episode, there's gonna be a lot that we're gonna be able to pull out, because there was some things that we just didn't know was gonna happen today. And that happens a lot. And I'm very happy and proud of the work that we do to come in this space, be real, because that's the best part. Like, what you guys got from us today is us. You didn't get the psychoanalytic Eric. No, when I said I don't compromise or I don't cope, I don't want to cope with nothing. I'm being honest. I don't want to. I don't want to have to be in a scenario where you constantly want me to cope with what you want. That would literally, I'd be living my life under duress, because it'll always be you wanting something, and I'd be like, yes, I will just cope with it. No, I mean, at some point I should be able to get what I want to, and you should cope with that as well. And that makes it copacetic. But
That's right.
Self-love, self-care, self-awareness. And we want you to take those elements away from this conversation today. But we wouldn't be who we are without you guys. And season 2 is already rocking and rolling. We love it. We're loving all the feedback that you guys are providing to us. Yes, we will be having pre-recorded episodes along with some live content coming to you as well. So if you see it, you see it and we recorded it previously, we're going to be trying to find time to bring it to you live as well. You can follow us on TikTok, all of your streaming platforms on listening. So it's like Apple iTunes, Spotify. You also have us on, Facebook. We're getting a little bit everywhere. You know what I'm saying? We have followers now, international followers. So we are getting out there. Okay.
Look at that.
Is it Belgium and Canada? We have people downloading our streams and listening to us. In the US, we getting there, and we can only get there with you guys. So if you're listening or you're watching, please subscribe, turn on the notification bells, like, comment, be a part of the conversation. If there's something that we're discussing that you want to hear more about, or there's something that we did not touch on in the subject that we did bring up that you would like to hear us talk about, please just send that to us. We're here for you. We want to make sure that we are a safe space for people to be able to get what they need, because we know on a Monday it's kind of easy to not be motivated, but that's why we're here, to motivate you. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign us off. And y'all know how we do this. You can just chill until the next episode. So peace. And have a good one, guys. Good night.
Peace, y'all.
Peace. Mike, get yourself together.
Yeah, get that together.
The mic was like,